really a pleasure to be with you all. And I think that I'm going to be able to share my slides. Is that correct?
I believe so, Adrian. Well, Adrian is flipping it over so Sharon can share. I'm going to read a little bit about her. So those of you who are relatively new know who we have with us today. Sharon Bonney began her career with COABE as a part-time administrator in 2009, moving up in the organization as she showed an unparalleled commitment to the field of adult education. Sharon has helped advance the organization on a number of fronts, including managing efforts to move it from a 1,300 member group in 2009 to 28,000 active members in 2020. She was the guiding force behind designing and implementing a new national conference model, developing new state, national, and workforce partnerships with more than 100 organizations, rebranding the COABE Research Journal and a related research to practice initiative, and designing all new professional development offerings, including webinars that engage more than 50,000 members. Bonnie spearheaded the development of the internationally acclaimed 6-time award-winning Educate and Elevate public awareness campaign, which has brought much needed visibility to the value of adult education and prompted more than 150,000 contacts with legislators in the local, state, and federal levels. These efforts staved off $200 million in funding cuts and added an $82 million increase in funding for adult education. In addition, Bonnie has diversified and increased revenue streams for the organization and envisioned, designed, and implemented many new and innovative strategies for the organization. So welcome, Sharon.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. And it really is a pleasure to be with you all today. So Christina, I could kind of run through the typical COABE slides where I just talk about the benefits of COABE if that works for you, unless you have a different format in mind.
That would be perfect. Thank you.
Great. And I understand that this is a membership meeting, so really excited to share with all the members. I think the first thing I just want to mention is that when you are a member of your association, OACE, you're a member of COABE. And we love that. We work very closely with state associations. And honestly, the reason why we grew so much was through our partnerships with state associations. So we really appreciate that partnership. Our mission is to inspire educators so adults succeed and communities thrive. We do this through leadership, professional development, advocacy, and communication. I'm really curious if you could just by a show of hands there, tell me how many of you are familiar with COABE and are utilizing the benefits that we offer? Anybody? Okay, I see a few. Great. Thank you, Adrian and Bobby. Yep, thank you. So, and thank you. All right, so for those of you who are not, this is going to be hopefully a presentation that will help you take advantage of the benefits. So the first thing I just want to mention is that, you know, COABE overall, we see ourselves as this organization that works with teachers, the 65,000 adult educators who then work with the 1.5 million adult learners. 74% of the adult learners are people of color. And these teachers are operating out of 2,000 plus WIOA Title II funded programs. So we really see ourselves as that kind of overarching organization looking to provide as many services as we can. We know that the adult education programs are providing numeracy, literacy, high school equivalency, digital literacy, workforce readiness training, and wraparound services. And our role is to try to figure out how can we fill in gaps. So in this presentation, hopefully you'll see the ways that we're continually thinking about that. But I also just want to put out there this request. If you at the local level or state level can think of additional benefits that would be helpful to you at your local program, let us know. We really, really want to help because we know that right now our field is looking at unprecedented times with this COVID-19 issue. So one of the things that we've talked a lot about is that many of our programs went from this brick and mortar setting to the online setting, and that was huge. That created a lot of issues, a lot of changes. We know this meant that their teachers needed additional professional development. It also meant that there were a lot of enrollment issues. And we know this, we've heard from many of our programs that they're really struggling because of the enrollment issues. And then we've heard that many of the programs want to reopen safely, and they're struggling because they don't have the PPE, they don't have the spacing that they need, and the additional staff. I was actually talking to a local program in Alaska, and they were telling me that because of the COVID restrictions, they can see 1/10 of the adult learners, and they actually need more staff and more space to do so than they already have. So you can just see the issues right there. You could see 1/10 of the adult learners in person, but you need more space and more staff. So we've been really, fighting hard to try to bring back funding, but add an additional $1 billion on top of that, which probably sounds like a lot, except when you spread that out across 2,000 plus programs, and for the spacing and enrollment and PPE issues, it's really not as much as you might think. We've been hearing from programs that are actually considering closing their doors. In fact, Jody can tell you that she and I were on a call yesterday with a Penn Hill Group, a firm that we work closely with on advocacy and funding issues. And we were sharing with them these concerns and saying, what do you think COABE can do at the national level to help with this? So, I mentioned this because we just finished up last month, Adult Ed and Family Literacy Week. And this is where we really were encouraging state associations, get in there and have meetings with governors, have meetings with the members of Congress. This is really the opportunity to get in front of them and have visibility. I want to also mention here quickly that COABE had the pleasure of meeting with the National Governors Association and talking with them about the need for funding, and talking with them about the fact that the stimulus funding was pushed down to the states, to the governors from the feds. And there is money there that's available to be used for this exact sort of thing, for adult education. It's called the government emergency funding. So this is something that we know about. We are really wanting the state associations to get in there and have those discussions with their governors and their members of Congress. But we also were really encouraging our members to take action. So, and I see that this slide needs to be updated. It should say $82 million that has been added. But this was a week where we all came together, and hopefully you all participated in some way, because this is really the only way that we're going to be able to move the needle, right? Is if we come together and work together. So I mentioned that because there was a lot of opportunities during Adult Ed and Family Literacy Week. And what we did was we had programming every single day. We also had emails that were going out on a regular basis. And we also provided the opportunity to get engaged through social media. So I want to mention Adrienne Boggs. I just want to thank you for the work that you did. She really helped push the needle forward on social media. I also want to thank OASE for their engagement in helping us to honor your representative, Sharon Brown. And I really felt like Ohio had a nice presence in those two ways. So thank you very much, Adrienne, for your work on that, and OASE for your work on that as well. I'm curious if any of you participated, besides the ones I just called out here, if any of you participated through social media. We had a Twitter storm that had over 49,000 impressions, tweet impressions. We had over 16,000 unique visits to our website. We had over 50,000 unique clicks on our emails. So we know people were engaging, they were taking action. But I'm just curious here, I would love to see in the chat box if any of you all have participated, and if you have any thoughts for how we can make that better for next year, because we're already thinking forward. I also wanted to mention too that all members were given the opportunity, at the local, state, and federal level. We set up our Ignite software where you could do 3 quick clicks and you could contact your mayor, your governor, your local councilman, your members of Congress, the president, all the way up, so that you could let them know about adult education and the value of taking action for funding. And then that last day, we had a really great announcement about the Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign. I'm curious if you all are familiar with this. Anybody familiar on this call? Great, then that means that you're the right folks to talk to. So we joined forces with the state directors, commonly known as state directors. It's the National Association for the State Directors of Adult Ed, to deploy a campaign toolkit specifically to increase enrollment with marketing and outreach tools. And I want to take a moment, I'm going to stop sharing here and actually show you the website on this, so that since many of you said you're not familiar with this, that you can see what this looks like. Because we've already received a lot of great feedback from members that this is actually been increasing their numbers of enrollment. So I'm going to share my screen again real quick. And you can see here that if you come to our Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign site, so you go to coabe.org, here's the link, I'll put it in the chat box. This is where you could watch the webinar on how to use these tools. This is where you could actually go in and make sure your adult school is listed, your adult ed program. And it takes 1 hour to be updated automatically in our website, but you can be listed as all these things. So an adult learner could come on here and they could say, I really want to get my diploma. They could click on it and they will find only those programs and their zip code that list how to get their diploma. So they're an HSE, right? Or GED sort of school. And then how to use a computer. So digital literacy, ESL, I want to learn to speak English. So they put in their zip code and they're able to pull these up. They're able to find those programs closest to them. So one of the things that we're planning to do is we're planning to work with Google to get some Google ad space and be able to really push out adult ed programs across the country. That's one component of this, but there's also a lot of resources that are available. So I mention this because if you've not signed up here, I want to encourage you to do so. You just click on this button here for toolkit and resources. It takes you right to the page where you sign up. Now, when you sign up, that's what's going to automatically populate this. So I would just say, make sure that you sign up and put in all the information there so that it'll automatically tabulate here. But there's a lot of resources. So I'm going to show you those resources real quick that come with this. There's, you can click here to download all the materials in a zip file, but there's individual links to fact sheet templates, press release templates, website briefs, social media posts, newsletter templates, all sorts of things. And I just would highly encourage you, if you've not done so yet, go to the website and check out this webinar. It's not even 40 minutes long. It shows you exactly how to use them. And if you need any sort of help, contact our office. We're here for you. Our goal really is to provide as much support to the field as we can. We're already starting to get a lot of wonderful testimonials in. Actually, I was talking to a gentleman in Michigan who was saying he's seen his enrollment increase by 8% just when he started using this. So just really encourage you to take the time to get in there and to take action. So I'd like to go back to my presentation here. I'm going to keep sharing this. So that kind of concludes the Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign. The idea really is to help you increase your enrollment numbers, because we know that we get funding based on enrollment numbers, right? So during this COVID era, that's something that we're really working hard to help you at the local level and at the state level with that. Then as well, we have our COABE Journal. And right now, this current edition focuses on workforce. I want to mention that your state association has purchased the access to the journal. So it's $400, but your state association has purchased that. So you all have access to that, which is wonderful because it's typically $45 per person. So if you've not received your issue, contact us. We'll make sure that you do. And then they also, folks can purchase it for $29 for electronically, or $2.99 for the single article, or $45 to have the paper copy. And I should also mention we had a lot of really interesting articles like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Skills USA, and other articles in there as well that typically are of interest to practitioners. So I'd encourage you, if you've not had a chance to look at it, to do so. Our next edition is one of my all-time favorite. It's focusing on racial equity and immigrant integration. And when you think about the fact that our adult ed programs are working with people, primarily with people of color, to me, it's all the more exciting that we're doing this. We had over 30 article submissions, and this is when we typically get about 15. So you can see there's a lot of interest in this area. I believe we'll have about 22. So it'll still be much higher than what we typically put in our journal, but that's just because there was so much interest from the field. So that should be coming out in the winter of this year. We mentioned quickly that we've been having webinars, and we have had over 50,000 that have registered for our webinars over the past year. But interestingly, we saw a real COVID bump. 32,000 plus of those were registrants during the months of March and May. So during COVID, we saw so many people that were trying to access our webinars. In fact, we used to see where we'd have about 300 people attend our webinars. At one point, we had 2,000 plus that would attend our webinars, really trying to get the professional development that they needed so they could teach online and really engage their adult learners. So we're going to continue providing webinars, and we just feel that this has hopefully been useful to the field. They're thematic, so they're based on specific topics. So each month we'll have a different topic. One month might be numeracy, so all of the webinars will focus on numeracy. Another month it might be ESL, that sort of thing. So if you've not accessed them yet, I'd encourage you, make sure you're on our mailing list, make sure OA says your email address, they send us your information, and that's how you're able to learn about these webinars. You could also go to our COABE website as well for more details on that. We've been working on this Google Applied Digital Skills Grant. This is our second year. The first year we focused on delivering this at the state level, and then now we're focusing on digging in really at the local level. Our goal is to work with these 7 trainers to provide professional development to 2,000 teachers and volunteers who will then provide instruction to their 50,000 plus adult learners. So we're really in the process of refining that and making that better. So that's been taking place. I think we've had 12 so far. We're going to have another training with our trainers to make sure that they're providing the best professional development possible. We also, in coordination with thinking about our workforce partners, we have a partnership in place with Amazon. Amazon is hiring 100,000 plus positions, and they're really looking to COABE as a talent pipeline. So we did hold our first virtual job fair on Friday, September 25th. And as a result, 31 adult learners were able to get jobs, which I find exciting. I know that's not a huge number, but that's 31 people, right, who now have jobs that didn't before. We're going to continue working with them. They do have a dedicated web page for us. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can show you this real quickly, because this is something that at any time your adult learners can go here and they can access and find out about jobs that are in the area that Amazon is offering. So let me share my screen again here. So the way you would find this is you would come up here to our website and then our strategic initiatives. So you would see, like right here, when I click on here, it's going to take me in, and then they have a dedicated landing page right here. You would be able to type in your zip code and see right here and explore jobs. So that's just a really neat little tool anytime that you can send your adult learners to so that they can find jobs that are near them. Okay, I'm going to go back to presenting. And I wanted to mention a couple of things about this initiative that I'm particularly excited about. One is that they have removed the barrier of needing your bachelor's degree to be able to go into management, which is really impactful, right, for our adult learners, many of which they just want to get a job. They want a family sustaining job for their family, to be able to have for their family. So to me, that typically these have benefits. They're at a decent wage, but there's a nice career pathway there as well. As a matter of fact, I have relatives who have talked about wanting to get a job at Amazon because in our area, Amazon's building a big center. So I have relatives who are very interested in getting in and feel it would be a good job so that they could have for a long time. But as well, Amazon has this upskilling initiative where they'll pay 95% of your college education. So let's say you get in, you get your job, and then you say, I really would like to go on to community college. They will pay 95% of that. So there's some nice benefits there. Speaking of adult learners, we have an adult learner membership option. It is free. All your adult learners could be members of COABE. We also have an ambassador program. And I believe Ohio is interested in participating in that. So you'll be learning more about that very shortly as well. And I just wanted to mention as well that you can share your adult learner success stories to our Educate and Elevate public awareness campaign. And what this does is it really gives us the opportunity to talk with legislators and funders and the general public about how our adult learners have grit and how they've overcome so much and how they really want to change the trajectory of their life through education. So I really encourage you, if you've not done so, you can go to educateandelevate.org, and I'll put the link in the chat box. You can submit a student success story. What's really nice about that is that we automatically then put them in to be considered for the Adult Learner of the Year award, $10,000. Margot Hudson from OACE received that award, I believe, back in 2016. And that's just $10,000 that we give. There's no strings attached for that. So just want to mention that I'm sure you know of adult learners who've really pushed through extreme odds. I encourage you to go to Educate and Elevate and submit their success story. Also wanted to mention we have an adult learner strand that will be taking place at our national conference, as well as 36 other strands that we've condensed down to 13 different strands. March 21st through the 24th, we have actually been putting out our call for mini grant applications. We'll be giving out 50 mini grants for $350 each. So we just want to encourage you all to attend. We're really excited about that. As well, we have our Ability to Benefit virtual symposium that's coming up on November 17th. So if you work with a community college, this is a great opportunity to contact your president, chancellor, provost, financial aid leader, registrar, and encourage them to attend. This opportunity is completely free of charge. Thank you to Essential Education. So that's going to be taking place on November 17th. So I'd like to open it up to see if there's any questions. I'm going to look real quick in the chat as well. Just see. I don't see any questions. I am happy to answer any, and if not, that's okay too.
And I did put the link, Sharon, to your the Move On with Adult Ed, which that resource is just amazing.
Thank you.
I would like to get the link for the Amazon jobs shared in there for folks.
Yep. Do that right now.
I had a question about the journal that comes electronically. Is that correct?
So it's offered both ways. Yep, it's offered as hard copy, and then it's also offered electronically. So the option that OACE chose is electronic, so you would receive yours electronically. Yes. And I should have mentioned, we've had over 100,000 clicks on the journal. I mean, people are really interested in it and downloading it. So the really exciting part of this is that it's written by and for practitioners, meaning that teachers and administrators can write for this. It used to be really researchy, like written by and for researchers, and there's definitely a place for that too. So by all means, there's other journals that do this really well, but we found our members weren't really using it. We'd get like 2,000 clicks on it. So we've been tracking this and thought, you know what, this is not going well. This is not serving the field well. So that's why we've moved over to this sort of a new look and feel, but written by and for the field.
I want to thank you for the professional development that you've been providing. Our particular program was able to utilize that a lot, and that made a real big difference for us. So I appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I would also ask if you have suggestions for additional professional development offerings. We would love to hear them. Like if there's a topic that you feel maybe COABE hasn't explored that would be useful to the field, let us know. Okay, well, thank you all.
I had a quick question for you. It's Bobby. Yeah. When is the deadline for the COABE Awards? Has that already passed?
No, that's December 15th. Let me bring up the website. Actually, I'll show you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And here, let me just share my screen again. I apologize. I didn't have this up. So here we are at the coabe.org and click on awards. And December 15th is our deadline, but you'll see we have a lot of different options: outstanding adult learner, outstanding teacher, outstanding administrator, local excellence in advocacy. I believe that actually last year, I believe that Seeds of Literacy won this for taking action for adult education. Advancing Workforce Development for Adult Learners Award. So this is really the Workforce Partnership Award. State innovations. So if you're a state association or state agency, or maybe your PD network is doing great work, you could nominate them for this. We have scholarship grants that we give and incentive grants. So $50,000 we give out annually. no strings attached. We just give it to you. So I always look at like, we should have thousands and thousands of nominations for these awards. We don't, just so you know, we have hundreds, but we don't have thousands. So I would encourage you to get in there and nominate. And the one other thing I would just note before I head off, I just also want to say that we're going to have our national conference and we would love for you all to attend. We feel that the idea really is to bring together the best professional development in the field, but is also available for the next 6 months. So March 21st through the 24th, if you're not able to attend, whether it's you attend virtually or in person, you can still go back and check it out. We did have 1.3 million page views, which represents people attending sessions or going to the virtual hall. And during the actual conference, there's only 1 million. So we know people are going after the fact and checking it out. It's still up, it's still live. There's a lot of, there's over 20,000 public conversations that took place. There was all sorts of different activities taking place and you can go and check them out if you're interested. So just want to mention that if you're unable to attend in person, there's still that opportunity to attend virtually and to attend after the fact as well. Thank you, everybody. Let me know if we could do anything more to help. We're here. We really want to support you in your work and we appreciate all that you're doing at the local and state level.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Sharon.
Hey, I believe that concludes our kickoff. Next week, we will open up at 9:30.
We're open at 8, actually. We decided to open up even earlier.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll be open at 8.
We know we've got some early birds among you.
Yeah, so if you want to get on and chat with your friends like you would if this was a real conference,
Yeah.
a real in-person conference, you can get on. You can visit with our vendors. Remember, they are listed under the exhibitors tab on Whova. If you have questions, there's places for questions.
And I did ship out an email to Whova. They've came back to me, and I did come in again here, and it came in fine this time. So I don't know if it was just a little glitch this morning, but we'll work to make sure everything's straightforward. But we will have backup links for you to come in normally, like through like a normal Zoom link, if Whova decides to get moody next Friday morning. So that way you can participate in your sessions without interruption.
Yeah, just
Ed,
send us a
please,
message. Let us know.
this is Celestina.
Yes.
Yeah, please, can you make sure you send it to my people? Some of them are having problem.
Yes. So I will make sure you have those links for you to share with your folks, because I know
that'd be great.
It's blocking Whova. So yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Anything else before we wrap it up for the day, folks? I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording at this point. I forgot to pause it when we went on break. Oops.